Mob, this is simple. Hollywood is trying to get streaming out of here, bro. And they're doing it in 3 steps. Now walk with me, listen. Number 1 is infiltration. Number 2 is influence. And step number 3 is elimination. Look at what's going on with Kai right now. Perfect example. When he had the celebrities starting to come into his stream, what is that? That's the infiltration. Then he started getting influenced by Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart started kind of trying to gauge him and how to move and how to speak and what to do and what not to do. That's influence. And now all of a sudden, he wants to step back and pursue fashion. That's elimination. And I know Kai is just one person and streaming is a whole industry, but let's keep it a buck, bro. Kai Cenat is the reason streaming is what it is today. A lot of people wouldn't even be doing content creation or trying to stream if it wasn't Kai Cenat. And Hollywood saw that, saw how much attention they were getting, and in their eyes, they weren't paying their dues or whatever, and now they're trying to eliminate it. And that's a fact.
Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome to Building the Verse. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video.
Hey fool, stop playing, bro. This is not Kyle, right? This is not real, right? Don't tell me that this is really fucking Kyle, bro. This man really posed in all these pictures and took them. Fool, this gotta be AI, right? This AI. But if it ain't AI, they got this man. I didn't want to believe it. But if this is real, what I was believing is real too. People don't know. A lot of times it always start with the fashion too. Once you start dabbling into little shit like this, there's nothing you won't do. It's crazy how he picked that name, V-Vet. When now he one of their pets. They finna take his ass to the clinic. He about to put on a clinic. Ooh, this ain't Nick, huh? And is that motherfucking nail polish? Oh, hell nah. They done made this man put on nail polish. A dress is coming soon.
Yo, I take back every thought I ever had about this. This dude is performance personified. Cause why did he bring the journal? Yo, when people were saying he was performative, I was like, maybe he's just stepping out of his comfort zone, you know? Maybe Frank Ocean is the first time he expanded his music taste. Maybe he actually did start watching anime after saying he's been an anime fan for so many years. But when I saw that journal at the fashion show, bro, it's over. I genuinely bust out laughing when I saw this clip because dude was flipping through every page, analyzing every page of the journal, reading it like it wasn't his journal, like he didn't write down everything up in there. And the part that's frying me the most is some dude walked up recording him saying, yo, what's in the journal? Let me know what's in the journal. Like he was about to drop the biggest fashion gems on us that the industry had ever seen. And I keep seeing people say, yo, what's performative about this? He's probably just growing. He's probably just maturing. He's probably just finding himself. Everything he's doing, like I swear, like literally everything he's doing, if you ask me to recreate Virgil's aesthetic, if you ask me to try to replicate Virgil, I would do everything Kai is doing. Like it genuinely feels like he watched a couple clips of Virgil when he was still around and said, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my aesthetic going into the industry.
Kai has mastered streaming, and that is a reason why he quit, because he made it perfect. He perfected the whole system. He even made a video about how he felt like he was in a cycle just over and over and over again. And that is when you have perfected a system, when polish is no longer leading to access, meaning that when something is so polished, access never happens anymore because you can't change it. It's over. His streaming became way too polished, and when things are too polished, it just becomes drudgery. This is why he rather read a book on YouTube and make it imperfect, because perfection is boring. Kai rather learn how to sew, make a whole fashion brand, than go through another perfect system. Think about it. Corporate culture is so boring because it has been perfected. It's already perfect. It's a polished, perfect system, and it is no longer alive. How can you bring something new because the system has already been perfected? So what do you get? A bunch of bureaucrats, a bunch of managers just shuffling meetings around, but there is no creation happening. And I think that's what happened to Kai. He felt like his whole system was way too perfect. It was already systemized that there was no room for growth anymore. It wasn't fun. He wasn't learning anything new. So when you're making content, think about that. Show your process. Even if it's messed up, even if you mess up, even if it's not perfect, show your process, because that imperfection is going to help you be more creative instead of dealing with a super polished product. I've been a part of very perfect brands, and they've been really difficult to work in, especially as a creative person, because the systems are already in place. So the lesson for artists and creatives here is to show your process, share content about yourself. Even if it's messed up, even if it's not perfect, it's better than perfection. Because when something is too polished, there's no room for participation and it's dead.
So that boy Kai done went to Fashion Week. Y'all all talk about Kai, he's dead serious about this craft. Look, got the journal in his hand. People trying to say that Kai trying to be like Kanye West. Why can't Kai just have a different passion besides streaming, y'all? He might legit be getting tired of streaming and want to do something else and get a different source of income or something. I mean, dude got it, but you know what I mean? He might just want to pursue something he's always wanted to do since he was a kid. Look, got the journal in his hand. But Kai wasn't the only one there. We saw Bruce was there, Jason Wayne. Basically, the streamers was involved in Fashion Week.
Production in Italy?
Yes.
For a particular thing? Oh, yeah,
That boy Kai, he moving like he want to be, a fashion designer. He gotta think, he's really putting in the pain. He's at the Fashion Week. He's studying. He's being a student. Brought his journal. He's sitting down with other designers. He's putting himself in that crowd. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That journal is starting to become iconic. I gotta say, bruh, as soon as people pulled up on Kai, they was like, where the journal at? That Vivette journal. And he showed it to him. A lot of people are speculating that Kai's not even going to spark a stream this year. If you don't spark a stream this year, that's crazy. But I do understand, because he got to put that pain in to become a fashion designer.
I think there's something deeper behind Kai quitting streaming right now. I think it's good. I think it's good for his growth. I do believe that he wants to do certain things, but I also think under the tutelage of Kevin Hart, there was more of a selfish agenda on behalf of Kevin, and I'll explain. So, I remember Kevin in an interview saying when he first walked into a streaming setup, he couldn't believe how much they were doing with such little equipment, right? He said, they were using $1,000 worth of equipment and they're reaching millions of people. And my last movie, I needed a $10 million budget in order to reach even half of that. Now, I do believe that, again, it's good for Kai. This is good for Kai. The growth is good for Kai. But I do believe that Kevin Hart is threatened by streaming. And I do believe people from Kevin Hart's ilk are threatened by streaming and content creation. So I think Kevin saw Kai and saw how enamored Kai is by Kevin, because of course he's fucking Kevin Hart. He said, I can influence this kid. And I can influence him to pivot away from this thing called streaming that he has made bigger than life so that I can protect myself. All under the guise of me showing him the real world. But what Kai doesn't understand, I think, is that he was creating the new world. He was creating a world for people to be able to have an opportunity from their house and not need these gatekeepers like Kevin Hart to actually be successful in life. And Kevin Hart saw him as a kid who looked at him as a hero and said, we stopping this whole streaming shit. That's what happened. That's what's going on right now, in my opinion. But I'm also happy for Kai's growth.
I regret to inform everyone that me and Kai have quit streaming. It's just been taking a huge toll on the both of us because it's just the hardest job ever. So yeah, we've moved on to greater things. We now read books. And
You done met up with Jaden. That's it. You know what this means, guys. You know what this means. Later, Kai. They almost got away with this picture, guys. What do you see? Look at Kai's hand. Look at Jaden's hand. You know what time is it. And this was before he switched up on us. And why is he walking around with a journal in his hand? He couldn't leave that in the car. Of course he couldn't. He's taking notes. Shh. Shut up. What's up with his eyes? You know what they say, guys. The eyes don't lie. And Kai looks disconnected. Shh. What happened to AMP? What happened to your peoples, bro? I wonder what they have to say about this. Or can they say something about this? Because I haven't heard none of them speak. And I know they feel the same way everybody else feels. This is the Kai that we know. The Kai that was streaming, having fun, doing this thing. Now he's all serious, taking pictures, holding journals. I mean, look at this picture, guys. Kai is smiling and Jaden looks really serious. Like, yeah, we got you now, Kai. Kai was the reason why people started streaming. What if him stepping away makes other streamers step away and go the same route? Something to think about when there's nothing to think about, guys, because this video is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm happy for Kai. He stepped his game up. He matured at a young age. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about this. I'm out.
They're saying people overreacting. They're saying flux reaching. They're saying it's not that deep. But now, it is that deep. Because this whole Cenat situation didn't just start at Fashion Week. That is the part people keep missing. This didn't start with the journal. The journal just made it obvious. At first, it looked normal. Kai blowing up, streaming every day, numbers going crazy, breaking records, doing things nobody ever did before. And let's be real, before Kai, streaming existed, but it wasn't this. It wasn't culture like this. It wasn't mainstream like this. It wasn't moving conversions like this. Kai didn't just stream. He made people want to stream. And that is important because when someone creates a new lane that doesn't need Nollywood, that doesn't need executives, that doesn't need permission, that is when attention starts coming. At first, it's love. Celebrities start popping into the stream. Actors, rappers, comedians, everybody just showing support. That is what people call it. But support and surveillances look real similar when you don't know what you are looking at. Because suddenly, the stream isn't just Kai and his community anymore. Now it's guests. Now it's appearance. Now it's moment designed to go viral outside the internet. That is infiltration. Not in a siesta movie way, but in a real world industry way. You don't shut something down right away. You step inside it first. You learn how it works. You learn who the leader is. You learn where the influence is coming from. And in streaming culture, Kai is that centerpiece. Then comes the second phase, influence, and this is where people get uncomfortable because nobody wants to talk about it without sounding crazy. But influence doesn't mean someone forcing you, it means someone guiding you, helping you level up, helping you move smarter, helping you prepare for the next phase. And that is where people started noticing a shift, not overnight, slow, substitute, different conversations, different posture, different present, not bad, just different. More polished, more industry coded. And again, growth isn't wrong. Wanting more isn't wrong. But people started feeling like something was changing that didn't need to change. Then Fashion Week happens. And this is where the internet loses it. Because now Kai's not just attending, he's studying, he's sitting with designers, he's observing, he's taking notes, and yes, literally taking notes. The journal, that journal changed everything, because once people saw that journal, the conversation split into different immediately. One side said he's maturing, he's learning, he's serious about fashion. The other side said, why does this feel like a performance? And that is where the divide is. Because it's not about the notebook itself, it's about what it represents. The internet is very good at sensing authenticity, not perfect but good. And when people saw Kai flipping through the journal like it wasn't even his, analyzing pages like he was in a documentary, people laughed, not because fashion is funny, but because it felt staged. Like when someone learned the aesthetics of something before the substance, and that is where the virgin comparison started. Not because Kai wants to be virgin, but because it felt like someone studying the image of creativity instead of just being creative. And that is not an insult, it's an observation. Because real passion doesn't usually announce itself that loudly. It just happens, and then the photos come out. Kai posing, serious expression, art angles, fashion body language, and fans start asking real questions. Why does he look disconnected? Why does he feel different? Why does this not feel like the Kai we know? And that is where fear kicks in, because whether people admit it or not, Kai represents more than just himself. He represents freedom, the idea that you don't need Nollywood, you don't need a TV, you don't need a gatekeeper, you can turn on a camera and build something massive. So when some people see him stepping into traditional industry spaces, it triggers anxiety, not jealousy, fear. Because people start thinking, if Kai leaves streaming, what happens to streaming? And yeah, logically, streaming will still exist, but culture isn't built on logic, it's built on symbols, and Kai is a symbol. He's proved that the internet can create its own stars. So when he starts working the same path as the industry, people feel like something is being taken from them. Then the conspiracy jokes start. This gotta be AI. This is not real. No way this is really him. Because sometimes it's easier to believe it's fake than accept change. But at the same time, people hasn't crazy on questioning it, because fashion has always been the first step for a lot of people. Not saying it's evil, not saying it's wrong, but historically, once someone transitions from raw internet energy into curated industry image, things change. The hormone shifts, the reach disappears, the intensity tightens up, and fans feel that. Then there's the AMP, and the people keep asking, why hasn't anyone said anything? Why is it quiet? Why does it feel like nobody wants to touch the topic? Because when someone is elevating, you don't want to be be one questioning their elevation publicly, especially when money, brand deals, and futures are connected. So silence becomes safer than honesty. And again, that doesn't mean anything evil is happening, but perception matters. And right now, perception is shocking. Some people think Kai is evolving. Some people think he's being redirected. Some people think he's tired. Some people think he's strategic. Some people think Nollywood is trying to absorb streaming influence instead of compete with it. And honestly, all those things could be true at the same time, because growth isn't messy, especially when millions of people are watching. The real issue isn't fashion, it isn't the journal, it isn't fashion week, it isn't the feeling that something organic is becoming curated. And the internet hates curation. The internet loves chaos, imperfection, randomness. That is what made Kai special in the first place. So when people say, why can't he just have another passion? He can, absolutely, but fans hasn't reacting to the passion. They are reacting to the presentation, because it feels sudden, it feels symbolic, it feels like a pivot, not an addition. And that is the key difference. If Kai streamed and did fashion on the side, nobody would care. But when people start speculating that he might not stream at all this year, that changes the conversation completely, because now it feels like an exit, and exits always make people emotional, especially when someone helped build the house everyone else is living in. So Nollywood is eliminating streaming, probably not in some evil mastermind way, but a traditional industry trying to pull internet influence back under their umbrella. Absolutely, because they always do. And streaming is the only entertainment space they don't fully control yet. That is why this conversation even exists. Not because Kai is wrong, not because fans are crazy, but because this moment represents something bigger than one person. It represents a crossroads, internet culture versus industry culture, raw versus refined, freedom versus structure, and whichever direction Kai goes is going to say a lot, not just about him, but about where the whole creator era is headed. And that is why people can't stop talking about that journal, because it's not really about the notebook, it's about what chapter we are entering next.
And if you have watched up to this extent, thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. Alright, lovely. See you when I upload the next video.